I remember the day clearly. It was during the long walk from school, like every other day. The sun was hot, and I was tired. I was just a girl, walking home, dreaming of my future. I didn't know that something terrible was going to happen. He came out of nowhere. A young man from our village, a face I had seen before but never really paid attention to. He pulled me into the bushes, quiet and fast. I didn't understand what was happening until it was too late. After that day, everything changed. I was scared, ashamed, but I couldn't tell anyone. I kept it inside, feeling like my life was ruined. I didn't talk about it. Then I found out I was pregnant. I didn't know what to do, and neither did my family. They were disappointed, but they tried to support me. I didn't even know if the man who did this to me was someone I could trust. Months passed, and I had my baby. Life became harder. I had to drop out of school because I had no one to help me. But I worked hard. I sold small things in the village, did odd jobs, and saved up. Over time, I became successful, starting my own business and building myself up. I worked day and night to make sure my child had a better life than I did. Years later, I moved to the city. I was no longer the girl walking home from school, scared and alone. I was strong. One day, I met a guy. He was kind and we started talking. He seemed so familiar, but I couldn't place him. We grew close, and soon we were dating. Then one day, as we were talking, I saw something in his eyes. It was a look I knew well. It was the same man who had hurt me years ago. I was shocked, confused. But something inside me told me to speak up. I asked him, "Do you remember me?" He looked at me, unsure, but then the memory hit him. He stammered and said he didn't remember everything, that it was a long time ago. I felt angry, but also sad. I had come so far, and now I had to face the man who ruined my childhood. I couldn't be with him. I didn't want him to be part of my life, not now that I had built something for myself. I ended things with him that day. I'm richer now, not just in money, but in strength. I've built a life for myself and my child. I've learned to forgive myself and move on. I'm not the scared girl anymore. I'm someone who can stand tall and look the world in the eye. And though it hurt to face the man from my past, I know I'm better without him in my life. I'm not defined by what happened to me. I am defined by what I've done with my life since then. As I walked away from him that day, a mixture of relief and lingering anger swirled inside me. I could feel the weight of my past trying to pull me back, but I refused to let it. I focused on the sounds of the bustling city around me, the laughter of children, the chatter of vendors, and the music spilling out of nearby cafes. This was my world now, vibrant and full of possibilities. Weeks passed, and I threw myself into my work. My business flourished, and I expanded my offerings, introducing handmade crafts that reflected my culture. Each piece I created was a testament to my journey, a reminder of how far I'd come. I took pride in teaching my child the value of hard work and resilience, hoping to instill a sense of strength in them. One evening, as I was setting up a stall for a local market, a woman approached me. She looked familiar, someone from my village. Her eyes were warm, filled with understanding and kindness. We struck up a conversation, and soon I discovered she had faced her own struggles. She had been through the unthinkable but had emerged stronger, just like me. We shared our stories, and in that moment, I felt a sense of connection. I wasn't alone in my experiences. We decided to form a support group for women in the city, a safe space where we could share our journeys and uplift each other. It became a place of healing, laughter, and empowerment. As we grew closer, I found myself opening up more, even about my past. The shame that once felt so heavy began to lift. The women around me understood. They didn't judge. They listened, and in their presence, I learned the power of vulnerability. One night, after a particularly emotional meeting, I walked home under a sky full of stars. I thought about how I had transformed from a girl consumed by fear to a woman surrounded by a community of strong, inspiring individuals. I realized that the scars of my past were not something to hide, they were a part of my story that made me who I was today. I knew I would continue to face challenges, but I felt ready for whatever came my way. I had built a life filled with love, purpose, and strength. No longer just a survivor, I was thriving, and my story was far from over. As I entered my home, my child ran to me, arms wide open. I scooped them up, feeling their warmth and innocence. In that moment, I knew I was not just living for myself anymore. I was creating a future for them, one that was bright and full of hope. Together, we would navigate whatever life threw at us, stronger than ever.